Greene, and this is bad. It's over. It is over. America prepares for a fixed income bond collapse in the United States. We had a failed auction yesterday, and more failed auctions of US government debt are coming. Please like and share and let me know that you can actually see me and hear me. And also make sure you are subscribed on X at AMTV Media. I want to thank all of you all for sharing our videos and getting out this key information that people need to hear it. It's over. Guys, it's over. Fiat dollars are collapsing officially in the United States. It's done. It's done. It's over. I'm not the only one saying this. We had a massive failed bond auction yesterday, and more failed bond auctions and failed issuance of debt, which now the central bank, because there is no buyer, and the central bank is the buyer of last resort, is issuing debt to buy its debt that it's issuing that no one wants, with debt backed by nothing that no one wants. So I want you to understand how catastrophic this is. This really is a nuclear weapon going off in the US financial system. It is starting with the cascading domino effect stemming from the yen carry trade. Take a look at the Bank of Japan. I've been covering that story in depth for years, but very poignantly in the last few hours and days, as it is a canary in the bond coal mine, signaling complete collapse, as Bank of Japan is literally our highest foreign debtor or indebtor that purchases US Treasury bonds. Keep in mind, this is a whole geopolitical shakeup. And the only reason Bitcoin is trading at new all-time highs, which congratulations to all of our members and your incredible success, of course, but that's not even really what I'm looking at right now. I'm far more concerned with the collapse of US fiat and the growing instability and disruption currently taking place in the Americas than I am with my predictions, which have been my predictions for over 15 years, 20 years since I started this channel, that of course blockchain technology would replace all banks and all fiat worldwide. So I'm going to break down exactly what these criminal elites are going to do next, and it's so important that you share this video. Please like it, please share it, please retweet it, re-exit, comment. Help me out with those algorithms, because this is a very important video, because I'm going to break down how the dirty scumbag political elite that have been conning you all these years, telling you things like Bitcoin was a scam when I told you to buy as much as you could, and who locked you in your house in 2020 and I told you not to comply, and was proven right about that as well. I'm going to explain exactly what these dirty elites and large institutions and criminal Wall Street's going to do next regarding stable coins to prop up the next giant Ponzi scheme attack, God forbid, on the American people, as they willfully destroy fiat, eradicate the middle class, and send the US dollar to zero before an extreme, dramatic, upgradable 2.0 USD dollar reset into a stable coin equivalent. So many of you are probably following, and I did want to comment too, that stocks are down, dropping 600 points. So notice there's a decoupling now, as we've been talking about here for a very long time at islandproject.com, that eventually Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain and real assets, gold and silver, would decouple from the US stock market, meaning stocks go down, people's retirement accounts bleed, your 401k collapses, and then real estate with no bank debt, gold, silver, gold just broke a new all-time high recently, which I've always recommended and own a lot of gold, and that also Bitcoin would decouple, send its price to new all-time highs. Because you have to understand, even technically, mathematically speaking, Bitcoin at a fixed finite supply can actually theoretically go to infinity. So I want you to think about this theoretically. This is just math. Bitcoin can actually trade at infinity, because it's got fixed supply with increasing demand, especially increasing institutional demand. Conversely, the US dollar, which is not fixed, which is unlimited, backed by nothing, printed to infinity with diminishing and soon to be no demand. As I just mentioned to you, we're having failed auctions now where the US government is now forced to be the buyer of last resort to buy its own crony debt no one wants to own. as China has been selling treasuries and Japan is forced to sell treasuries to cover its yen carry trade implosion. So the US dollar can only go to zero against Bitcoin, which can only go up. And if you've taken just basic economics, like a college course or community college course, you would know that. Increased demand with fixed supply and limited scarcity versus unlimited supply, no backing and no demand, you understand where this is headed. And this is why actually I principally recommended Bitcoin all these years, was not because I already knew that it would replace fiat currency and of course topple governments worldwide. It was for freedom and also safety from the implosion that you're now living through now. So let me explain what's going to happen with the stablecoin legislation currently passing through Congress. This is going to, in both branches, both houses, what this is going to do to the markets. This is going to bring treasury liquidity into stablecoins, into a soon-to-be independently by itself multi-trillion-dollar stablecoin market. For example, the largest stablecoins in the world today are Tether, which has most of the market share at 151 billion, followed by USDC, which was founded by Circle, of 61 billion. These assets, along with other stablecoin issuance, after the Genius Act is passed, followed by additional legislation, which will be approved, will allow even more companies like Facebook, Google, Apple Computers, and others to even issue their own stablecoins or embrace the current stablecoin technology that has already been rolled out. This will transfer to Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and as I have suggested before, if we compare international markets to, say, stocks, equities, the world equity market currently trades, I believe, at 140 to 150 trillion dollars in aggregate market cap versus a crypto market cap that sits at a mere 3.36 trillion today. So I want you to think about that discrepancy, how it's only up in crypto and Bitcoin, right? In real assets, but in this new innovative tech space of AI, which includes Bitcoin and blockchain, quantum-based computing, etc., everything that they're rolling out, DeepMind, etc., is in its nascent stages. So let me explain what the plan is of the elites as they move forward with stablecoin legislation. I think my gardeners might be here today, so I might move this indoors in a minute. Let's go ahead and do that now. Meanwhile, you guys can take in the view. Please like and share while we're waiting. Currently streaming across all major live streams here. So, yeah, let me explain to you what's going to happen. So, the US government is about to dump trillions of dollars of worthless debt into stablecoins. How are they going to do this? They're going to force USDC, which is soon to be acquired either by Coinbase, which is heavily regulated and a good exchange that I've recommended in the past, and I do like them, as well as Circle, which is in a bidding war attempting to sell USDC to either Ripple Labs, right? XRP, essentially, but Ripple, the company, and or Coinbase. And as a part of the legislation, you see the elites are very smart here. They're actually going to force, through the Genius Act, whoever owns or controls these stable coins, which are centralized, by the way, to absorb the debt that no one wants. And this is a principal theme and a fact of what's to come. And I haven't heard anyone talk about this yet, because again, I'm not really looking at price. We already know Bitcoin's going to go to 200,000 to 300,000 this year. And we know probably by the end of Donald Trump's term, I would suggest Bitcoin will probably be at 500K. So that'll be a 5x from its current valuation. And then once Trump exits, I would expect Bitcoin to trade above 1 million. And then again, my target has always been 2 to 3 million. Michael Saylor's is 13 million, for those of you who don't know. So the point that I'm making is that our legislators already had a pre-devised, pre-planned inside job plan of attack to get rid of the debt as they extort the middle class and extract all the wealth to themselves, and to force these stablecoin issuers to hold US Treasury debt that no country or sovereign nation state no longer wants to hold. So basically what's happening is the stablecoin market is going to absorb the shock of Japan selling the debt. It's going to absorb the shock of China selling its debt. It's going to absorb the shock of no other sovereign nation states wanting to own USD anymore. You see how they're transforming the marketplace into another centralized control mechanism to buy the debt no one wants, to offload it, to basically dump it on the American public once again. Because you have to understand, the whole government, the way that it operates, is a Ponzi scheme. As you can hear my kids playing Legos in the back right now. Hey, Austin, my buddy. You guys be a little bit more quiet, please. Appreciate it. I'll be done just in a few minutes. I love you. God bless, man. They love Legos so much. And so what we have happening, again, proves what I've been telling you all these years, that the deep state, that the Washington insiders, the Wall Street that hates you, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities, the Vanguards that own basically the entire US stock market, and now their Ponzi scheme, their failed Ponzi scheme, their massive debt load that they're never going to pay back, their huge deficits that even Elon Musk couldn't clean up with Doggy, which has collapsed the US dollar officially, created hyperinflation and unaffordability for you and your kids and your family members, so they can barely, never ever afford anything of real value, where American starter homes are being bought up by all these same institutions left and right, where even $1 million barely buys you of anything of real significance. While rates are trading above 7%, and most of all the activity is now just cash and extreme wealthy and hedge funds that are buying all the very valuable physical stuff. I always told you that they were duping the American public, scamming the American people, and they had already figured out to remanufacture, essentially dump and offload the debt to the American people again and get you to pay for it. So I hope you understand the point that I'm making is a lot of you don't understand what's going on in the stablecoin market. And let me put another idea in your head too. Very few of you have not thought about the fact yet. Wait until you learn that you can deposit USDC stablecoins and Tether and other stablecoins like it on lending exchanges and DEXs to borrow Bitcoin with. So you can actually deposit a stablecoin backed by US Treasuries and buy Bitcoin with it today. You can do that with WBTC, which is not native Bitcoin, and it's not as good as Bitcoin because it's a representative of Bitcoin on the Ethereum ERC20 token technology and blockchain. But the big event that's coming that hasn't happened yet, but it's being experimented on Wall Street, is you will actually be able to allow to be buying native Bitcoin soon by borrowing against your stable coins. So I want you to understand how much new money and liquidity, mostly coming from the scam that is Wall Street, right? That's what they do. That's their business. You know, create things out of thin air, borrow at zero, charge you 30% on an APY credit card, hose you in a 30-year mortgage so you pay triple what the home is worth, tax you to infinity, never allow you to fully own your home outright, keep the property taxes going till the day you die, spark even more hyperinflation so you might be 85 and then you can't even afford your real estate taxes anymore, even though you own the house, then the government seizes it from you. And by the way, we've thought about all of this here as a part of islandproject.com, all of it. My blockchain technology, soon to launch in our management company here at the Digital Noah's Ark, has a mechanism within our code that actually allows for that. We've thought of everything. And So what's going to happen is you're going to see huge debt issuance and forced buying of treasury that then is going to buy the most valuable scarce asset in the world, which is Bitcoin, which is what Michael Saylor is already doing. All he's doing, it's not even that, and he's a smart guy, so I'm giving him credit, but it's actually very simple. It's not difficult to understand. He issues bonds and basically borrows worthless US fiat worth nothing that is printed into infinity in the debt markets, grabs the money like on a credit card, then buys Bitcoin, which is scarce, which over time only goes up, which he can then securitize and borrow against and pay back the debt and the bonds with diminishing return dollars that have been hyperinflated that are worth less. You see, the more they hyperinflate US dollars and collapse it, the easier it is to pay back the debt. The government, it's easier for them to print more hyperinflationary dollars to pay back the worthless debt with dollars that aren't worth what they were before. Do you understand? And so this is a massive, significant liquidity move, and it's being rolled out right now. In conclusion, you need to get out of the banks. You need to get into scarce assets. Please share this video. Understand that the elites conned, not you, because you guys are smart. Most of you have been with me for like 20 years now, and you've been, riding this out with me the whole time. But a lot of the American public still doesn't know they were duped and flat out conned in a deep state inside job in regards to Bitcoin. This is why Jamie Dimon and all the elites, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, all the prognosticators, everyone in the mainstream media, everyone on TV, pretty much everyone you know told you Bitcoin was a scam, but I've been telling you to buy it, is because they had all been duped through psychological programming. This has always been a deep state, DARPA-oriented psychological warfare technology that's been open sourced by freedom fighters and liberty fighters like myself worldwide that have created all this new innovation. But we always knew that the government would have a hand eventually as game theory ignited and governments around the world were forced to buy it, co-opt it. Then they would bring their liquidity in, and that's how they would transfer the system into the new one. And of course, we all know where this is going. It's going into an AI robotic transfer, Internet of Bodies. And we're seeing this roll out dramatically right now. Apple Computers is working on their Neuralace brain links. And Elon Musk is rolling that out in robots extremely aggressively. Bill Gates' Synchron is rolling out his interface brain chip mechanisms as well. And in addition to that, there was even a report today that Google Glass is making an update, the failed glasses, and they are now rolling out another equivalent. But instead of using Ray-Bans, which Facebook does, they are going to use another eyeglass company. See what these nerds, frankly, didn't understand before, because these are all the pimple-popping, people in high school that were probably beat up, honestly, and so they're trying to compensate, is, and I say that kind of hilariously, but they didn't understand that they couldn't mainstream these eyeglass and brain interfaces without it being cool. So Mark Zuckerberg, it took them decades. I mean, think about how long it's taken for these people to figure it out. But like Sergey Brin and others, as they're traveling around on their super yachts, finally figured out that they can't get the people to onboard these brain links unless it's cool, right? It's got to be fashionable. It's got to be sold by Hollywood and all this kind of stuff. So I want you to understand where this is going. And by the way, all of this I will not be complying. For those of you that know me, I'm a Christian, so I won't be taking the mark in any form. And I formed and designed and created islandproject.com because it's the digital Noah's Ark that is fighting against all of that. Again, I first invested in Bitcoin and promoted Bitcoin under 1,000 and started all my schools and stuff because the thing we care about the most is freedom and sovereignty and manifest destiny. Something that I think America has lost. I mean, think about how America is now. It's so bankrupt. And although we've had a lot of technological advancements, most people, it seems like, are unhappy. And then they're just scammed their whole life with infinite amount of taxes, even though the government prints money from nothing and could print all the taxes. And then they are scammed again on this false idea that they're going to live their dream and sail into the sunset in retirement. But by that time, they're dead because they're too old to enjoy it, or they're in a walker, or they've been diagnosed with cancer, or the dirty scumbag elites lock you in your house like they did in 2020, so you can't even travel. And then you find yourself on your deathbed. Sorry if this sounds dark, but it's true. And you're in a nursing home and you're scammed again. See, this is why I've always said, do not comply, live your dream now, go big now. You should be taking more risks. And there's actually, in my view, I have to see my terms and disclaimers, but there's no risk in buying Bitcoin. The risk is actually not owning it. There's no risk in buying islandproject.com real estate. There's actually a risk not buying it. You see, I've told you this for years, that I told you this 15 years ago, that if I'm right and Bitcoin goes to the moon and replaces fiat currency, an island project, as it's turning into now a multi-billion-dollar asset, and you then onboard, the risk was actually not onboarding. See, the risk to you and your family is not getting out of fiat currencies, not getting out of dollars, not understanding and being educated of where the future of money and technology is going, not understanding that you were duped. And I mean, this is going to be a very big cognitive dissonance moment for a lot of people, because, man, if I had another Bitcoin, for every time someone told me the government was going to ban Bitcoin, or Bitcoin was a scam, or Bitcoin was going to zero, I'd be a lot richer than I currently am. And by the way, I'm not impressed by my bank account or anyone's bank account. And I'm not impressed by, fancy things or really worldly things. What I'm impressed with, and again, the reason why we've embarked on this journey together, is because to me, what is impressive is the invincibility and the infinity of God and his miracles every single day that I see in you. Again, all wealth creation and money and technology is a tool. And you even need to look at Bitcoin like this as well. Bitcoin is just a system of value transfer. That's all it is. Just like the US dollar was once the reserve, which has now collapsed, and no one wants it anymore because that was the plan. All fiat currencies collapsed to zero. That's a historical fact if you've studied any ancient civilization. But all money really is an idea of value, right? That solves people's problems and provides a tradability mechanism. And what makes Bitcoin so powerful is it's the first real money ever developed that has the principles of gold, also a fixed nature, which gold actually doesn't have. They can increase the supply a little bit each year, which they do through mining or discovery. Let's say Elon Musk decides to mine a new asteroid, if that's even possible, which I don't really believe that, but theoretically, if they can mine gold from an incoming asteroid or other precious metals, you now have supply you never had before. Bitcoin is truly fixed. And the beauty of Bitcoin, as well as it's portable and fractional, still a fact a lot of people don't know. You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin at 109,000 or wherever it's trading currently. You can buy $100 worth of Bitcoin fractionally. So at some point, we're going to stop valuing Bitcoin in terms of USD. It'll just be, how many Bitcoin do you have? One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. And you also need to understand that other currencies are collapsing even worse than the United States dollar, which is hard to believe, against Bitcoin. So as all fiat currencies around the world are collapsing, it's being measured in the fiat that's collapsing against it. But it's actually collapsing worse in places like Argentina, parts of Central America and overseas, Europe, I would argue, and the Eurozone, if you're actually comparing it euro to Bitcoin. Or, you could even stronger fiat currencies. Please let me know you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Because this is acting funny again. You can hear me, Transcend? Please like and share. Please like and share. You hear me? Okay, great. Well, let's finish with a view. That's God's will telling us that you're going to like and share, get this information out. So again, what's going to happen? We are now going to enter a massive fixed income bond collapse in America, and the middle class is going to be obliterated. And there's going to be, as you're living through now, the greatest wealth transfer in world history. This will cascade into all westernized countries that have been using fiat, as the US dollar is now officially replaced by Bitcoin. And In addition to that, they're also going to open up and light up global war and conflict, as we're already seeing. Israel just made an announcement that it's going to attack Iranian nuclear facilities, which I predicted for a long time. I also predicted, all glory to God, the invasion of Ukraine before it happened. And so it's going to spark off geopolitical disruption. Here's what I would expect, and we know how all this is going to work out, of course, but I would expect a lot of volatility. And your focus shouldn't be on necessarily price of Bitcoin right now. You need to be thinking ahead in the future. For those of you that think that you've missed Bitcoin, a lot of you have, quite honestly. I mean, the time to buy it was when I first recommended it. That's where the 1,000,000% rates of return were. And by the way, for those of you that have record profits, I encourage you to be charitable to those around you and to people that need your help. And I just want to remind you too that, you know what, go help someone out today. Help out a loved one or a friend or a family member that might need it, especially if you've been blessed and you found value on this channel and you've been riding this wave of Bitcoin profits and everything with us here at the Digital Noah's Ark. And you can donate anonymously. Also, if you feel like you've missed the blockchain revolution, although there's still a lot of opportunity, most of you probably have missed Bitcoin. Don't miss islandproject.com. Very few of you probably understand that all that untapped equity, all that hard work we've been doing, that my team, I've been doing, my father have been doing, Papa John, over the last 2.5 years is to unlock our tokenization event, our TGE. This is going to be our token generation event, which is going to be backed by our already acquired physical asset, like you see this property behind me, and 12 others just like it. Call or text my dad at 808-442-2934. This has already been built. This is what we've been working so hard towards. And what's so amazing about our concept is that not only is it true 100% equity ownership of the best real estate in the world, diversified, where you own 150 units minimum all the way up to 1,000. You get the same capital gains you would if you just bought a house yourself. Same future income distributions based on the units that you own, plus use and lifestyle. It's a lifestyle investment, which, by the way, not all of our investors even want to use the property. It's a great investment even if you're not, enjoying property. I just think that's a cool feature, and we did that because we really want a community here, ecosystem, which I think is very valuable and amazing and beautiful, and it's also a lot of fun. You can't do that with the stock. But our TGE, our tokenization and token generating event, see our terms, and our intent to tokenize is going to unlock the golden age, so to speak, 1,000x for all of our investors as our equity essential IPO event on the public markets. So my point is, the value's already there. We already created all of it. The assets have already been purchased. Fill out an app, you can do it at islandproject.com, and unlock yourself into our token event, which is separate from the physical real estate that we've already acquired and already own. Because here's what's going to happen next. Now that Wall Street will get finalization and clarity on the Genius Act and other stablecoin legislation, this is going to green light the tokenization of all physical real-world RWA assets in the world. And this is what BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and all these guys are working on. And I knew this. This is why I invented fractional tokenized real estate, owning beach, ocean, front homes in the best locations in the world in various states, focusing and targeting where we had a strategic advantage in Hawaii. We now own across 3 islands, of course, a ski lodge in Park City, Utah, and our international acquisitions that we're working on now, because all the big boy money, the infinite money, right, that the printing to infinity is now coming. And all my investors are riding that tidal wave, essentially, of profits. And that's what's happening. Dollar's dead, fixed income bond collapse, massive eradication of the middle class, destruction of the family. I mean, we see how the radical left has pushed that all these years. Disorder, political chaos, fracturing of states, and within all of that, the reset, which they had always carefully mapped out and planned, which I've been telling you about. Not much time left, guys. This is really, really bad. This is really, really bad. So please like and share and make sure you're onboarding now. Let us know how we can help. It's an honor to serve. And I just want you to know how much I care and love about you guys, and I want you protected. I want you to have the best foot forward as this plays out. I'm obviously extremely bullish the blockchain crypto markets, and it's honestly an honor to serve. So I love you guys very much. Jesus Christ is King. Please like and share.